but all I could find is an equal amount of hurt and confusion that I was feeling. Quietly, I responded, "Tell me everything I want to know." His body language went through a shift as he took a deep breath, preparing himself to speak. "So, I met Daniel 2 years ago," he starts. "He claimed to be divorced and said that his ex-wife left him along with the kids. He explained that he was doing his best to raise them, but it was extremely difficult, thus he hoped to start anew with someone who actually cared for him." A frigid knot formed within my stomach. 2 years. For years I had been an upright citizen subject of the United States, while this man had been living a double life, lying to my face every single day. Following, I questioned, "And you trusted him, is that right?" Liam appeared embarrassed as he looked down. "I really did. He was so persuasive. He introduced me to his friends, showed me the apartment, and made me feel like we were building a future together, which clearly was not the case. I had no reason to mistrust him. He was that good," I said, my voice sounding devoid. "He wasn't the best at making people believe what he wanted them to believe for no reason." Liam's gaze went to me as he displayed shame in his eyes. "I'm so sorry, Anna. I never intended to hurt you or your kids. You are the last person I think about." In an attempt to take in everything that Daniel had done, we both got lost in our thoughts. The truth was undeniable. He had constructed two different worlds and ensnared us both in false realities that separated us. He had betrayed not only me but the man who he had said he loved. Liam's voice cut through my thoughts when he asked, "What is the next course of action?" "Exposing him is exactly what we'll do," I said in a determined tone. "He must live with the consequences of his lies. This is no way to continue treating people." "Sure, I want to help," Liam responded as he nodded. "I am also aware that he lied to me. I want to make sure that he is not able to damage anyone's life ever again." With the details provided by Liam and the evidence that I had gathered, I felt prepared to list my accusations against Daniel. But this was not going to be done behind closed doors, and sighed in relief that he would not be able to lie his way out of it. It was now everyone's turn to see how he had been playing them all, manipulating the world around him. I decided to host a get-together at our place and asked a few close friends and family to join. To him, this was meant to be a friendly gathering, a meet-up with some of the family and friends. He would further regret this, as it would lead to the combination of all of his lies. The day arrived, and he was clearly in his happy place. He was charming guests while laughing and hugging them and showcasing himself as a devoted husband and father. The sight of him making me angry was very soothing, but seeing him flaunt the information he had made up rattled me to my core. All I had to do was bide more time. As people settled down, I got up to get everyone's attention. Daniel observed me with a raised eyebrow. "I want to tell you something important," I said, making sure my voice wavers to the anger side. "It's something concerning Daniel and the life he lives." Low murmurs could be heard from every corner of the room. Daniel's face seemed to lose all its color. "What are you talking about, Anna?" he asked, clearly distressed. My eyes were fixed on his face. "I mean your double life, Daniel. The apartment downtown, Liam." Not a single word was uttered after this, and I could sense the underlying discomforting feeling that was present. His eyes were opened wide. A combination of fear and shock was plastered all over his face. "I have no idea what you are saying," he said with a stutter. "It's ridiculous." "I have been to the apartment, seen the lease, and talked to Liam. I know everything," I exclaimed, making sure I do not lower my voice. Uncontrollable gasps could be heard from all corners of the room. I could sense the expression of betrayal on the faces of the people who once supported him. The world is a painful place, and I watched as his expression of lies was molded. The journals, messages, and the photos made him more of a prisoner than a free man. Daniel remained motionless, his face pale. He tried to talk, but no sound was produced. For once, he was speechless. He got caught red-handed, and there was no way to get out of it, no spinning it, no manipulation left to do. "Liam?" One of our friends spoke, bewildered. "You have another relationship? With a man?" Daniel's eyes began to look for his escape, but there was none for him. He had been caught, and the life he worked so hard to build around himself was shattering like glass. A single stone had broke all that he worked so hard for. He turned to me. "Anna, please, let me explain," he begged me with his eyes. But I interrupted him. "Explain?" I snapped, fury and anguish blending within my voice. "Explain how you're done me for years? Deceiving me, not just me, but everyone here? And how you're having a double life? They may seem repulsive, but there is no explanation that can justify what you've done." He took a step forward towards me, but I held my hand up. "Don't," I said resolutely. "It's over. I want you out of this house and out of our lives." He remained standing with a broken expression. Stuttering was something visible unto him, but sympathy wasn't the thing I wanted. He had made his choices, choices that had destroyed our marriage, and he had made his choices. I turned away from him, addressing our friends and family once more. I have filed for divorce, I stated. Daniel will move out straight away. I would like you all to understand the truth because you deserve to know who he was. He has been living a lie and now, that lie is over. With that I got out of the room, my head full of tangled up thoughts, leaving Daniel to face the people he had lied to. I happened to develop a sense of relief. The truth was out, and it felt like I was no longer in the shadow of his blasphemy. The intensity of their confrontation is vividly terrible. That evening, Daniel moved out with no more than a suitcase. He made attempts to reach out to me, to apologize and beg for another opportunity. I did not listen. Everything that needed to be said had already been said. He had ruined the relationship beyond repair, and there was no going back. Few days later, Liam called me. He was heartbroken not only for himself, but for me and the children too. There was genuine concern for all of us. We were all victims of Daniel's lies and were led to believe in a world that never was. We met once again, this time to talk and to make sense of everything. I expected better from you, Liam said with regret sprinkled in his tone. Had I known the truth, I would never have gotten involved with him. I know, I responded, my head feeling heavy and exhausted. We were all part of his web of lies. But this time, we were free and able to move on. Do you think he will ever change? He asked. No, don't know, don't care. But that is irrelevant now. The focus has to be on self-healing and self-moving forward. And with that, we went our separate ways. With him being a victim like me, we were never friends. But there was mutual understanding that was profound. Both of us had been wronged, but we were no longer bound. It felt as if the subsequent weeks were a punishment. It could not have gotten worse, but it did. The divorce proceedings were crushing, beginning with legal battles surrounding custody and asset division. There were custody and the asset division legal battles to endure. Daniel argued his personal life was irrelevant to his rights as a father, but my lawyer was very clear that his lies and double life certainly explained a lot. Ultimately, the court's decision favored me. I was bestowed full custody of the children, while Daniel was given partial visitation rights. In his attempts to balance everything, he ended up losing what mattered the most. The community was in shock, struggling to comprehend the reality. Friends and acquaintances who knew us as a perfect couple were grappling with the revelation of Daniel's double life. Alongside those who chose to support me, some refrained from getting involved, confused about how to confront the reality. Despite all the overwhelming emotions, I prevailed. My life now rests on my rebuilt terms, after exposing him for the deceiver that he is. The kids had a hard time adjusting, but I made sure to support them every step of the way. It was important for me to emphasize that they were not to blame, that they were and always would be loved and cared for by me. Together, as a family, we went to therapy sessions to unravel the confusion and pain caused by Daniel's betrayal. In Daniel's case, life began to unravel. His reputation was invariably destroyed, which eventually turned the people that admired him into his adversaries. Subsequently, Daniel, for a time, moved in with Liam, but their bond was unable to bear the wear-off. Eventually, the two separated, which meant that Daniel was solely responsible for the destruction he so painstakingly crafted. A few years passed, and the consequences of betrayal on Daniel started gradually fading. I, on the other hand, crafted a new and wholesome life for myself, as well as the children, where love and calmness prevailed. With the backing of friends, family, and community, I came to the realization that I was more resilient than I had previously thought. Most importantly, I started dating again, albeit with more caution. Initially, I was always on guard, anticipating deceit. Luckily, I was able to build trust over time, which subsequently allowed me to open up again. Eventually, I met someone understanding, supportive, and most importantly, honest. It was a complex and slow process. However, in the end, I was able to feel joy again. As for Daniel, we did not meet often. The traces of his double-lived life follows him every step of the way. He made his choices, and with each decision came a heavy price. He remains a father to our children, but he is no longer the sole man I used to know, nor am I the only woman he had set foot with. At the end of everything, I realized I have chosen myself, for my sanity rather than putting the burden of harming him with free will on myself. I was in a place filled with disbelief, too many possibilities and choices allowing me to be free of this mess, but I had to expose him, not out of vengeance, but out of a need that is rare to satisfy. Nonetheless, it started with the intent to build the lie he created. But it is not something I choose to live with ever again. Daniel borrowed interests of others to keep the picture beautiful, but his reality was harsh, and that too out of a single illusion. With the honesty, I pleasantly made my way out of his life, bringing me a new era filled with this newfound strength. Socially, context tells me that while I was married to a certain person, mundane activities were a scarring yet an intimidatingly illusionary and eye-catching reality. Now, in a world filled with possibilities, I spice quite greatly while standing out, having undergone betrayal. I crafted for myself an uproarious life filled with principles.